and impact the masses.
Greetings. Salutations.
Hello.
How you doing? Welcome to a brand new episode of the Doormen. We are them.
It's just like it's just not meant to be.
No, it's meant to be.
Maybe we're
gonna get it right this time. My name's Evangelist, and that's
Steven in the building.
and the person laughing behind the camera. That is our beloved producer, live
To be fair, he has every reason in the world
to laugh.
to laugh.
Yeah, well, I mean, I guess we could run through our week again. Steven started a new job. My job is going through some restructuring.
Going great.
All is well.
Yep.
I've got a new Doormen sweater on. I don't think we've ever had a black sweater, white print. If you like it, holla.
I like it.
We will definitely be selling these, and beanies are on their way.
Beanie.
With the Doormen patch on the beanie.
Sick.
All coming your way. It's coming, and we will keep you posted. Well, just to get to the meat of it. Let's just get to the fucking
Let's just
meat
dive
of it.
right in.
Just dive right in.
Entitlement.
I'm tired of this generation believing
Entitled sons of bitches.
themselves to be entitled to
Yes.
every fucking thing on planet Earth. Right?
You know what? I quote Tony Soprano.
What did he say?
When his wife says, I want what I'm entitled to. And he says, you're entitled to shit.
So to all of you bastards out there who feel entitled to whatever it is you think
Yes.
you deserve, and you don't work for it, you're entitled to this
Yeah.
shit.
If you have no battle scars, no blood, sweat, and tears poured into it, you are entitled to shit.
And I think we've brought this up on a past episode, but it started with the participation trophy.
Yeah, man.
And whoever came up with that idea
Should be shot in the head.
should be quartered.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Horses tied to each of your limbs, running in all the directions of the compass.
And we'll give the horse who pulls off the first body part the most carrots.
The most.
Because they're entitled. 'Cause
Absolutely.
They work their ass off.
Absolutely. Right. So what did that participation trophy do?
Lessened the talent pool.
It definitely diminished the talent pool.
Yeah.
Right. People believed they didn't have to put in as much effort in training anymore. They didn't have to be as hardworking.
Right.
And
Didn't
then
have to be good.
right.
You could have went the whole season on striking out, missing tackles, not making a shot.
But think
Any
about
number of things.
think about what it did to the talented kids.
Yeah.
Right? So the talented kids, they're like, wow, I've got all of this speed, agility, strength.
Yep.
And these guys are getting trophies too? Fuck that. I'm not going to work as hard either.
Yep.
So all it did was it created a culture of kids who understood that they didn't need to put in as much effort.
Weak ass bullshit.
Weak motherfuckers.
Yep.
Anyway, we sound like two old men.
As I stated, I was on a lot of shitty Little League baseball teams.
Sure.
I'd say my first 4 teams I played on were just bottom of the barrel. Bad News Bears times 10. I was
coached.
stuck on a team that was on the batting order 1 through the first and second batters, and then 4 through 9 were dog shit. I hit third, so
So your team should have been the CNN Bears.
yes,
Fake news Bears.
yes.
Fuck.
The MSNBC Bears.
Well, I coached teams, and what happened was that there were rules in place that forced you to play all kids for a specific amount of time before you allowed your stars to take the rest of the.
That rule
time.
didn't exist when I played.
Yeah.
Either you were good, or you played left field.
If I had it my way, right?
Yeah.
All of the kids who were trash because they didn't even want to be there, I probably wouldn't have played them at all.
Right.
And then that would have forced the parents to say, hey, your kid doesn't want to be here, doesn't do well in practice, right?
Yeah.
Not playing them.
Yeah.
So take them out,
Right.
right? I mean, it's not like we needed all of the players,
Right.
right? I mean, hey, we just sound like two insensitive fogies.
Well, you know what? Maybe we are, but we're right. So
I believe so, right? Because again, it created this culture where you don't have to try.
Right.
You don't have to try. You don't have to put in effort, no work. Right. And then again, what does that do to the talented kids? They too feel that they shouldn't have to work as hard.
Or maybe
either.
they quit the sport because they didn't want to play with shitty players or change leagues.
Right. It kind of reminds me, there was a classroom, right? There was a classroom, and they were, of course, these kids in these university classrooms, they believe that there's, there's so much inequality that goes on, right? And so they wanted to push towards a more socialist outcome or a more socialist style of things, right? A style of operation in the classroom.
Right.
And then so the teacher says, sure, this is what we'll do. It says, you won't be graded for any homework. You don't have homework. All you have is tests. We'll just grade you on the tests. But this is the catch. Instead of everybody earning whatever it is they've earned on the specific test, like let's say you get a 98% and then the next guy gets a 70% and the other kid gets 80%, what they'll do is they'll just tally up all the
average.
And then average it, right?
Right.
So it worked.
Isn't that the bell?
It worked for the first test, right? What happened was all the kids turned in the tests, the scores averaged out to a B. I believe it was 80-something%, right? And then so all of the A students, they were like, okay, we'll take it, but I studied all night.
Right.
And then, of course, the B students were like, I'm okay, right? Because this is usually what I get. C students were, fuck yeah, gotta be. And D students, well, man. And then the kids who failed were like,
cool,
so excited.
Now they're in line to be a CEO of Microsoft.
I think it was after just the fourth test even, everyone averaged fails. And then so they ended up failing the semester.
Right.
Collectively as a class. Pushing for that socialist
great
style,
experiment.
Right?
Right.
Why? Because again, as we explained, the process is that initially you're going to have all the kids performing at their levels.
Right.
And then after a while, you're going to just diminish the talent pool.
Yeah.
Right?
Why would anybody try if they know they're going to get rewarded at
try?
the end of the year or season?
Right.
Why would
and
anybody give a shit?
So what has to be understood is that that's how society works.
Right.
That's a microcosm of society.
Yeah.
So if you understand that, then you understand where all of this entitlement bullshit is going.
Right.
Right? If you don't work for it, if you don't absolutely research the steps that it takes to get to a certain position, you're not going to get it.
Right. And you should feel, horrible as a person that you got a position handed to you because you're a certain color, you're a certain ethnicity, you're a certain whatever. If you fit the criteria that they need and you get that position, that's just terrible. Absolutely terrible.
Right. And as we've discussed before, it says a lot about this move towards equity, right? Because we know that equity simply means equality of outcome.
Right.
And that is absolutely impossible.
Right.
You pointed out before that what Jordan Peterson said. He said, yeah, equity is exactly what they want in very specific roles, right?
Yeah.
You said that, they're looking for those in roles of authority.
Right.
Positions of status, right?
High-paying positions.
High-paying positions, but in positions where the respect level is high.
Right.
Right? But in positions of, let's say, a degrading, maybe not a degrading, but maybe a labor-heavy job, they're not applying for that 50% male and female participation.
Right.
Right? So you're not going to see them. Hey, Jordan Peterson's famous or his go-to job is the bricklayers. He's like, you're not going to find bricklayers where there's a 50% female, 50% male participation.
Right.
He said, how come you don't push for that?
Yeah,
right?
that's a valid question. You want equal rights with CEOs and vice presidents, presidents.
Sure.
Of these huge companies.
Sure.
Disney, Apple,
Positions
Google.
of money, power,
And
status.
and you want all these positions, but you don't want equality with the bricklayers, the construction workers, the
The people cleaning urinals.
you don't want equality there.
Or hey, have you ever seen the people who clean out the porta potties? Holy shit, straight men.
Never once seen a woman do that.
Dude, I felt, because
Not that you're not capable.
in terminals.
You just don't
right,
want equality.
You're driving trucks in these port terminals, right? And then it's nothing but porta potties. You don't see too many bathrooms, so these porta potties are just everywhere. And the poor guy pulls up in his truck. He's got his hose, and he's sticking that hose in the. Yeah, that poor dude. I had to rush him one day and say, "Hey, don't clean that one out. I need to go piss."
Just literally dealing with shit all day.
Right, dealing with shit. Right. Where's the equality there? Why don't we see more women rushing to that position? I'm sure they pay well, right? I'm sure that's a job that pays well.
Fucking better
right?
hope so.
Yeah, because if you're dealing with that kind of shit
Otherwise,
all day,
it's a job that you get straight out of prison. I don't know.
fuck. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. But that poor guy, man. I wanted to give that guy a hug and buy him lunch, but
Whether he was covered in shit. So
yeah, he smelled like it too. I was like, oh shit, it's horrible.
You're like, bro, how do you sit in the truck all day?
Right.
I always wondered, like when they're driving, like what if they have to like step on the brakes? There's just nothing but shit.
Oh.
A shit wave.
Probably. You don't even want to know what's in that tank and shit. Oh,
Moving
shit.
on.
You literally look like you were gonna fucking cover that microphone
Moving
and vomit right now.
Let's talk about something else.
Yeah. Well, I mean, look, okay, not to go back to the community that we were originally on, but it kind of goes with this this transgender, this identity game
Right.
that's being played right now.
Yeah.
The identity game is that whatever fringe group out there wants you to give them kudos, they want you to
Respect.
give them a status,
Yeah.
an acknowledgement that maybe you as a non-participator aren't up to.
Yeah. You just don't agree with.
You don't agree with, but they're forcing you, like, you gotta acknowledge me in this way. You gotta say that I'm this. You gotta say that I'm, and we don't want to go through the names because we're gonna get this wicked shake in the recording of the.
was
Yeah,
bizarre.
we didn't want that. Anyway, anything that you want to campaign for, right? Anything that you want a group of people to be acknowledged for,
Right.
right? You're going to have to get the agreement of everyone in that society or in that community before you even get,
Right.
them, like let's say the pronoun game, right? Playing the
one.
pronoun game. If you want, they, them to be what people use, right? You're going to have to go and nurture these relationships. Campaign. You're supposed to,
Get people on board.
get people on board, right? Add value to yourself in order that you,
Right.
that
Make
you
people want
get them
to.
to say,
Don't-
you know what, I
don't
am going to
force
call
them.
you they and them if you want,
Right.
right? But no, you want to stand back behind these computer screens, punching on these buttons,
Yeah.
screaming and hollering, or even hollering into your camera, and then doing all of your campaigning that way. It's loud. It's going
Right.
to get a lot of eyes, right? But it didn't.
There's no value behind
There's no value, but there's no work. There was no connection, right? In order to truly, because that's how you get it, right?
Right.
You get it through connection.
Right.
You go and have conversations with people individually,
Again, make them want to. Don't make them do it.
or even present yourself in real life. Like Charlie Kirk, right? This guy goes to universities and he puts himself in the line of fire with all of these disagreeable people because that's what you're supposed to do. That's the work you're supposed to do in order to gain this notoriety.
Yep.
In order to gain this acknowledgement.
Yep.
Right? That's a guy who's not entitled. He's not looking for any type of entitled behavior.
Right.
or entitled treatment is what I should say.
Well, it's funny because it's like a double-edged sword, right? They want to be accepted to a certain level, right? And then when they're accepted to that level, they get upset that they're accepted at that level. I'll give you an example. A video I was watching, there's this individual that works at a fast food restaurant, and the camera starts with, "I'm so tired of getting hit on by men. I'm so tired of it. All they do is come up to the counter and say how attractive I am." And then it cuts to the same person saying, "But I'm a dude." And it's just like, well, wait a minute. Wait, whoa. You want to be seen as a female.
Right.
You want to be addressed as a female. And when you get treated like a female, which in this situation was probably uncalled for, maybe some sort of harassment, you bitch that you got your way.
Wait. Did this thing look like a female?
I mean,
would she have passed, or would it have passed in your book?
Absolutely not.
You wouldn't have walked up and called this an attractive.
As big as Andre the Giant's balls.
Oh snap! I mean,
again, it's you. You set the example, right? You have the long hair, you're wearing the makeup, you have your nails done, you're playing the part. So you get treated as somebody behind the counter of a fast food restaurant, let's say, as somebody who's, they're like, oh God, if they say, oh, you're beautiful. Oh, hey, what are you doing later? You get hit on in that situation by men. And then you sit there and you say, how dare they? I'm so sick of this. Like, you got what you wanted. It's unfair treatment, sure, but you got what you wanted.
That's kind of like the reverse of the entitlement thing, though, right? Because you weren't looking for this behavior, or you weren't looking for this response, but you were?
I completely disagree. I think it's the entitlement that you wanted your way, you got your way, and now you have this scumbag sense of entitlement that you shouldn't be treated that way.
Sure. Okay. I dig that.
Because
Because
you're playing the part.
Right. Because any way you wanted to be treated, right?
Right.
You actually have to work for it. You have to put this intention behind it. You have to take the steps, and then you have to actually say, hey, this is what I would like from you. And then you can maybe expect that treatment.
Right.
Yeah?
But
if you're just going to sit there and do whatever the hell you want to do,
right,
and then people act in the way that they want to act towards you because that's what they're entitled to do, right? That's the thing, right? You're not entitled to get any. You're no puppet master. You're no ventriloquist.
Right.
That's what it is.
You're not entitled to have it both ways.
Right.
The old adage, you can't have your cake and eat it too.
You don't have control.
100%.
You don't have control over the things you don't work for.
Right.
Or work towards.
And to be fair, if you're standing behind the same counter and you were the appearance of the actual sex you were at birth, you probably wouldn't get that treatment. You wouldn't be getting hit on by men if you didn't look the part, play the part, act the part, and then you get treated as some females do in situations, harassment, as I said.
Harassment.
And then you bitch that they're accepting you for what you present, and it's still not good enough. Like, what do you want to happen? What's perfect for you? You want to walk around and get addressed as she and her, but you don't want all the extra that comes with being a she and her?
Do you remember the story about the woman she was a feminist, ultra feminist, and she spent her mission was she set out on a mission to live as a man. I think her goal was actually 2 years, but she didn't make it. Whatever her goal was, she didn't make it. Mm-hmm. And then it was so bad that not only did she reverse her position, she said, you men have it way easier than us women. She reversed her position. She went on television, did multiple interviews, and she started to admit men have it difficult. It's a very difficult life for men in a different way. They have different difficulties. Mm-hmm. But then she ended up committing suicide.
Oh.
Right? She went through this whole process.
The ultimate no return.
And I'm not gonna pretend to know what it is she went through and what led her to that path of suicide, but people just don't understand, right? Because it's easy for us to stand on one side of the fence and then look and say, "Oh, grass is greener."
Right.
Or grass is this way. The grass is that way. The situation is
The grass is greener on the other side because it's fertilized with other people's bullshit.
good one. Wow. Oh shit. We've got to applaud Stephen on that one. That was another
Profound.
biblical.
Profound.
Wait, is that somebody else's thing, or did you just come up with that?
That was 100% somebody else's
Oh,
thing.
okay. I was about to give Stephen all the fucking credit because I'd never heard that.
It's pretty good.
But hey, anyway, kudos. Yeah, but it's easy to stand from one position, having one perspective, and saying things are a certain way when you don't actually know.
Right.
The point is, the whole point of this entitlement discussion is the idea that in order for you to find things, to expect things, to want to receive things, work has to be done.
Right.
Work has to be done. Research has to be done.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, our producer, and I always want to bring up any chance I get, I'm going to talk about our producer. This guy, you talk about the amount of research that it goes into creating this illusion of a podcast that you see here.
Yeah.
Holy shit. Steven and I had no interest in putting in that work. All we wanted to do was get behind these microphones, right? Look into the camera lens and just talk our shit. That's all we wanted to do, right? And then here comes Johnny.
Right.
And his willingness to do research because of it, he's this professional, editor, right? A great, talented editor,
Yeah.
right? And then
I
the
mean,
amount of research my man does, hours upon hours of reading and just learning. Holy shit, right? Nothing came easy to this young man. Kudos.
especially with us.
Yeah, especially with us, dude.
So,
Two stubborn elderly mules.
Yeah,
is what
elderly,
the two
just
of us,
the two jackasses in the field.
jackasses with gray hairs coming out of our.
Well, you wouldn't know because we shave our heads. So, there's another video I saw. My buddy Robert, the Army Ranger, sent me a video. There's this 6 people on this panel, and they had all of them guess who had the highest IQ. And there was one girl in there. She had a PhD and she was a doctorate and all this, bullshit. Not bullshit. I apologize.
Doctorate of bullshit.
All this
exactly.
fancy titles, right?
Okay.
And there's a guy on there he was a Marine.
All right.
So she put herself as the second highest IQ and the Marine as the lowest IQ. And she goes, it has nothing to do with your background. It's just the way you present yourself and the way that I think. I don't think you have the highest IQ.
I think I've seen this video.
Dude came third highest IQ. Guess where PhD was?
At the bottom.
Last.
At the bottom.
The lowest IQ of 6 people. Now that bitch sat there and thought because of all her work
Well,
and all of her she was entitled to have the highest IQ in the room, not knowing that this Marine was
a little smarter than she was.
smarter
Right,
by a large amount.
You know what? I think that also goes to the delusion that these university students have.
Right.
That they are actually being educated.
Which
on
goes
these
back to the
university-
participation trophy.
Right.
You got the PhD because you were
Because
in
you
the right
sat
place at
through
the
this
right time.
program.
Yeah, exactly.
Because you were this sheep
Right.
willing to be herded into each of these pens,
And you know what her
aka classrooms.
what her job was? She worked at some lab and she made COVID tests.
Oh,
So
you deserve every.
I believe that taking that job and making those tests shows that your IQ is low anyway.
Yeah, you're entitled to that last position.
Right. This is
And
the
that
person that made the
IQ.
test that I took a COVID test and ran it under my sink at my house and it came positive. So good job,
Yeah, your bitch.
PhD bitch.
Which is too fucking. You know what? Before the end of our podcast, there was a request that we spend more time talking or telling our stories, right? So, would you like to go first?
Of the bar?
Yeah, the little Doormen bar story. So, our final segment is going to be us retelling our stories.
I'm not sure if I've told this story before, but this is kind of a general Doorman story that kind of goes with the topic of entitlement. standing at the door, oftentimes when you weren't there, or if you were inside and I was outside, there were certain people that would come to the door that thought they were entitled to bypass a line, or thought they were entitled to bypass a group of people waiting to come in to the bar. They would name drop. They would, flash their tits, whatever they could to think they could get in. And it never worked with me, especially if they dropped your name.
You mean they could flash tits and then drop my name and still not get?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Wow, the desired. Wow. Okay.
Just because the fact that they were entitled enough to think that saying, "Oh, I know Evan." Well, so do I. What the fuck does that mean? That was what I always used to say.
You should get preferable treatment.
They're like, "Oh, I know Evan." Okay. Or I know Brian. Okay. He signs my check. So do I. What the fuck does that mean? And the ultimate was
Angry Bird.
Brian's, the old owner, his daughter came.
Oh, bro.
And she had a friend. And the daughter didn't have an ID. And I had no idea who she was. No idea. The owner's daughter didn't have an ID, so I didn't let her in. Her friend, entitled little bitch that she was, said, "That's the owner's daughter. Are you not going to let her in?" I said, "I don't give a good goddamn whose daughter she is." I asked for an ID, and she didn't have one, so she can't come in. The daughter said, "I understand. I'll go home and get my ID." The little yippy chihuahua bitch kept going and going and going and going and going on her entitlement that she knows the owner's daughter, so they should both be able to come in.
The nerve.
Let the paramedics sort them out.
Fucking nerve.
Let the paramedics sort them out.
I too have somewhat of an entitlement kind of story and this happened at the bar when they dwindled it down to one guy per shift.
The fun days.
The fun days. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So they dwindle it down, and it's one guy watching the bar, and of course it's me. I'm standing in the front. And then so I noticed, so there had been a guy that I let in repeatedly after throwing him out.
Is this shoeless Joe Jackson?
No, not that guy. Not that guy. After throwing him out, I had personally thrown him out 3 times already.
In the night?
No. On 3 different occasions. But on this night, every time he comes, I just think, you know what? I'm going to need something to do tonight. So I let him in. So I let him in. And then band is playing that night. This probably about an hour into his stay, a lady comes to the door and says, we've been trying to get rid of this guy. We've been trying to ask him nicely to leave our table. At first, he was nice, so we allowed him to stay and talk with us. But he is just getting drunker and more annoying. Can you please ask him to leave?
Standard Saturday night.
And I won't drop this guy's name, although I know this guy's name. So I walked in, and guy, he's a lot bigger. Well, he's a lot bigger than the average patron in Seal Beach. So my rule is, if the guy's big, I love to I don't mind getting physical with him. Mm-hmm. So it's a big guy. So I walked up to the guy and I said, "Hey, you know what? Do me a favor. It's time for you to go." I said, I was told that you're bothering people, and then so I'm going to ask you to go close up your check, reset. You're welcome to come back tomorrow. This was a Friday night. And then he says, "Who am I bothering? Who am I bothering? You know how much money I spent here tonight?" I said, "Listen, I don't care how much money you spent. I was told you're bothering people.
Thanks for your patronage. You get the fuck out."
But me, I'm always super. I'm always super.
Rainbows and unicorns.
Yeah, super polite, super courteous. So I smiled and I said, "Listen, I'm gonna tell you one more time before I get you up." And he says, "Oh, you're gonna get me up?" I said, "Yeah, I'm gonna get you up. So I'm gonna ask you one more time." I said, "Please stand up, walk towards the bar, close out your tab. It's time for you to go." He says, "Yeah, what if I don't?" As soon as the "what if I don't," I just grabbed the back of his, and I just kind of jolted him up, and it popped him right out of the stool. So he popped up out of the stool, and he kind of began to stumble towards the bar. And then I got behind him, and I just walked towards the bar with my hands on his back, and I said, "Hey, Alicia, close the man out." And they were like, "Hey, yeah, you owe blah blah blah." Gave him his check.
$250.
Yeah, it was pretty steep. Gave him his check. He was like, "I ordered all this," and I said, "Yeah, we'll get the signing."
Apparently.
And then so one of the other patrons, our buddy Rich, remember Rich? Mm-hmm. He comes up and he's like, "Hey, everything okay over here, Evan?" I was like, "Yeah, everything's fine, man. I'm about to get the guy out." And then so Rich is kind of distracting me. So the guy signs his shit and he walks towards the door a little faster than I wanted him to walk. But I was okay. I thought he was going to be, cool and walk out of the door. He's walking towards the door, and all of a sudden he tries to get into the booth right next to the door and just sit. And I scooped his hand. I put my hand right under his armpit, and I yanked him the other way, and he dives dead into the other booth. And then he says, "I'm going to call my Uber." And he whips out his phone, right? And I said, that all of the politeness and the courtesy just fucking left my fucking. I said, "No, you're not." Grabbed that phone, and I said, "I got your phone. You're not calling any Uber. Get the fuck out of here." Mm-hmm. And then he flips the table. The dude grabs the table and he flips the table and he says, "I'm gonna call my Uber." And as soon as that table flipped, one of my hands went right under his other armpit. The other arm went onto the door hinge. Mind you, he's in the booth. So I kind of scooped this kind of like slingshot move, scooped him out, and then I ended up throwing this fool like straight into the tree. He slides head first,
Safe.
face in the dirt, and exactly. Andrew, a member of this little crew who came in, he runs over there and he was like, "You're safe." And I said, "Hey," and I ran up to the guy and I said, and I'm gonna drop his name. I said,
"He's out."
I said, "Listen, Seth." I said, "You see what an idiot you look like?" I said, "This all could have went smooth as could be, right?" But I said, "You decided to be an idiot." And he's over there breathing the dirt out. This guy, people think that money is going to give them, bring them that entitled treatment. I don't care if you spent $3,000 in the bar. If you're acting like an idiot, if you're ruining other people's time, that's what you deserve. Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, that's our show today.
That's it.
And I wanted to wrap this up before my phone runs out because that's what it is.
Somebody wasn't prepared.
I should have charged this shit. But that's where we're going. Till next time.
We gone.